The court has granted the media's request to be here on the condition that no images of the defendant be taken. You cannot take any images of the defendant from neck up. So I heard flashes, so I just want to make sure that's clear and on the record. Pursuant to Penal Code 989, I must inform you of your right to disclose your true name. If the name by which you're prosecuted is not your true name, you must declare your true name or be proceeded against by the name of the accusatory pleading. What is your true and correct name?
Luis Enrique Monroy Bracamontes.
Mr. Bracamontes, the people of the state of California have filed a felony complaint that charges you with committing crimes in violation of codes of the state of California as follows. All offenses charged in counts 1 through 14 are alleged to have occurred on or about October 24th, 2014 in the state of California. Count 1. In the county of Sacramento, Marcelo Marquez did commit a felony, namely a violation of section 187 of the Penal Code, in that said defendant did unlawfully and with malice aforethought murder Sacramento County Sheriff's Deputy Daniel Oliver. This is a serious and violent felony within the meaning of Penal Code sections 1192.7 paren C, paren 1, and 667.5 paren C, paren 1. Count 2. In the county of Placer, Marcelo Marquez did commit a felony, namely a violation of section 187 paren A of the Penal Code, in that said defendant did unlawfully and with malice aforethought murder.
Can you slow down a little bit?
Sorry about that, sure. In that said defendant did unlawfully and with malice aforethought murder Placer County Sheriff's Detective Michael Davis.
No, I'm not going to make any political opinions on border and immigration and deportation issues. And it's particularly important because what you all can appreciate is we potentially face down the road a change of venue motion because of publicity. And at the beginning of a case, especially one such as this, the publicity is high. But those kinds of things are not things that we will address publicly. And we don't know information that's out in the media that's been published so far. Those of you that have experience in death penalty cases, you know that evidence is introduced during the penalty phase if in fact we move forward on the death penalty. And those are the kinds of things that may or may not ultimately be admissible in that penalty phase, and so it really would be inappropriate for us to comment on it.
This may have been mentioned as Luis Enrique Monroy Bracamontes. Is that currently what you guys know him as, or is it still Marquez?
That's the name we booked him in under, and unless we get information to the contrary, that's the name we will continue to use. You won't hear me say it, but that's the name that we're officially releasing. Obviously, immigration is one of our law enforcement partners, so we are in continuous contact with them, and they provide whatever information to us that is relevant, and so we're continuing to get information from them. I can speak a little bit to the investigation, because I'm sure from perhaps your perspective it seems like that we should have all the information that we need to make some of these charging decisions and knowing exactly what charges, but I can tell you that this investigation, there currently is no more important investigation to this department than the investigation into the deaths of these two deputies, as you can imagine. We're working around the clock. That being said, there is still a lot of things that we still have to do. We have to process meticulously 9-10 cars for evidence. We have to obtain court orders. We have to go through many different scenes, as you might imagine, because of the series of transactions that occurred in 2 separate counties in multiple different locations within those counties. So we don't do things fast, we do them well, and that necessarily means that it is going to take us days and perhaps weeks to get to a final point in this investigation where we can get all the information to the district attorney to make appropriate recommendations. At that point, I suspect the appropriate charging decisions and things will be made. But until then, they just don't have the information, all of the information yet, including statements from some of the victims, to be able to charge as completely as they would like. So that investigation is ongoing, and no one wants answers and resolution more than I do and more than Sheriff Bonner does. But we all appreciate the professionalism and the way that our investigators will go through this methodically, and that's exactly what we need them to do.